Warning, incoming game over. Warning, incoming game over. Game over. Warning, incoming game over. Game over. Warning, incoming game over. Game over. Warning, incoming game over.
Hello. I assume you guys can hear me now. Sorry.
Game
My bad. Let me know if you can hear me. I'll just ramble until somebody does me the favor of telling me that. Um, I am under pressure and I am not reacting the way that, like, I don't know, like Nick Suzuki does under pressure. I think I'm reacting way more like a Josh Anderson. Um, Guys, it looks like my audio is really loud to me. I'm gonna turn it down. Let me know if it's too much down. Okay, I think that should be better. Um, yeah, so I'm not reacting the way that that an elite player would. Um, but I am on my best Josh Anderson impression, which, if you remember, I'd say maybe the best part of the game uh, was when Josh Anderson just like was alone, completely in front of the net, uncontested, anything. And he just kind of was like, what if I just fumbled? Um, so that was incredible. But no, my favorite part of the game was very obviously Patrik Laine and how his debut went. So guys in the chat, just let me know because, whoops, because I am alone today. So this is my first time doing it alone. So here we are. You're along with the ride. So I'm gonna take a look in the chat. I'm assuming you guys will, as per always, let me know your thoughts. So yeah, I'm gonna read the chat while you guys let me know your thoughts. Please remember to like the video and subscribe, obviously. If you guys don't, again, you don't like the video, I'm gonna assume that it's because you personally don't like me, okay? So, no, I'm kidding, but I'd really appreciate it. So yeah, I'm gonna kind of start with like the big topic, which is obviously Patty Laine. I know we were all really excited for him and his kind of, I don't know, debut in a Habs jersey and not a preseason game. Um, but I thought it went so well. I think it's pretty obvious, to be honest, like that he is rusty. You could see it. To me, the biggest thing was like the speed. Not only the skating speed, or less the skating speed, but more the decision making speed. So I found that he very often would like take an extra second to shoot. Now again, it's not like it mattered because at the end of the day, he got his goal. But there were definitely times where I was like, I could tell that like he was just getting back into the rhythm of things. Um, but the goal that he did score, it was a fast moving goal. I'm gonna check my notes because I do take notes, guys, and see who was the assists. So Nick and Lane. Yeah, okay, now I remember exactly what that goal looked like. Um, it was just such a wonderful little moment. I think the Habs have lacked moments this season. And obviously, let me know if you can think of any other big moments on ice, not like pregame ceremonies or stuff. For me personally, the Shea Weber thing was a big moment, but on ice, because I think a lot of us were waiting for that Lane Hudson goal, and that was going to be the moment. But that's we're waiting. We're still waiting for that one. Um, but I think this was like kind of the feel good moment. Now, I tweeted something and I'm just gonna check what I tweeted because I want to get my exact wording because it is pretty much, yeah. I said they're not crisp, but they're alive and they're shooting and I'm thrilled. And that's honestly what it was for me. I was like, wow, a team that like has all this energy and has all this momentum. Um, because listen, I've never met a New York Islanders game that I've liked. Let's put it that way. Um, they're always just boring. We all know that. This is a complaint we've all had for like 20,000 years. Although my friend Brendan also told me, reminded me that the Carey Price return game, in that after his injury return, was also a Islanders game. So surprisingly, a set of exciting games for us, but not generally the Islanders thing. Um, I'm just gonna catch up on the chat a little bit. Just not the best at, walking and chewing gum at the same time. Yeah, so Bernardo Ber okay, just a side note. So last game, I'm sure a bunch of you were there, but if anybody remembers, at the end of the game or at the end of the stream, I was trying to plug my social medias and I decided I wanted to spell out like what my Blue Sky account was. Nightmare. I've never regretted a decision more. Like it's never been an instant, oh God, why did I do that? Because it's like I immediately forgot how to speak English. Um, I've never been more aware uh, of English being my second language, guys, than I am like these days as I'm on camera. And I figure, you guys are always so nice, and I figure if anybody's going to be understanding, it'd be the market for the Montreal Canadiens. Um, so yeah, my Bernardo here says Caulfield Huggin Lane was a vibe, and MFM says that yes, the vibes were through the roof. Must have been a fun one to be in the crowd. So our beloved Claire is not in the chat today, and that's because she is at the game. And she tweeted some like pictures and some videos of it, and it looked like such a good time. Um, I don't know if you guys saw like the various reporters who on social media kind of posted the in-crowd reaction. And it was so loud. And I hope that like Laine feels the love. Because this market gets like a reputation for being really hard on their players. And I don't know if that's necessarily, I think it's both fair and not fair. To me, there is a bit of like a how do I say this? Pressure is a privilege, I guess, is one way to put it. I think this market demands a lot out of their players, and when they don't get it, they're willing to share those thoughts. Um, I do feel like the media is a little harsher here in the scale of things, not like they're not the worst. Um, but definitely on the scale of things, I think we can admit that. Um, but I don't think the market is unreasonable. When we love our players, we love them. Um, Guys who get, the good, all the cheers and all those moments. So actually, that's something I'd love to know you guys' thought about. How do you kind of feel about that assessment of the Montreal market, of it being like a really, really hard place to play? And let me know, because me personally, um, I think it's the Toronto market that's a little harder on their players, and I have my thoughts for why. Um, but give me your thoughts. Would love your thoughts. So Trinka says in the chat, I hope that everyone that Patrik Laine meets in the next 24 hours greets him the same way his dog will tonight. or Cole Caulfield. And I think that's pretty much it. I think that's how Cole's little going up to, he always looks so excited for players. Like he just seems like, and everybody says it, but he seems like just a happy guy. And I love that for us. I think like every team needs vibes guys. Now, I think sometimes teams do this thing where they will get a guy just because of vibes, and I think that's where it can get a little iffy. Um, but definitely in terms of, we have Cole, who's just really good for the team on ice, but also just seems great for the locker room, and I love that. I love that for us. I think we could use that levity. Um, so just reading a little bit of the replies, it's a lot more. Bernardo says it's a lot more paparazzi-ish. I remember when Stamkos got stalked by a Montreal blog. Yeah, fair. Uh, Adam Firebear says Toronto seems worse. Trinka says, I find the French media to be a bit weird and paparazzi-ish. That one, I understand. I think it was like Shea Weber's house that like when he was first traded, people found where he was, and that was news, you know? So I understand that. I think it's a little bit of the culture too. I think our culture in general has just shifted from the super celebrity access type of situation um, to just being a little bit more respectful. Like in terms of those boundaries, I don't know if people are being any more respectful. I think social media maybe has made that aspect a little worse, but like in terms of boundaries, um, but I definitely see what you guys are saying. I hear that. Um, I think Toronto has my opinion on this is that um, Toronto has bigger expectations, especially right now. Like I'm talking recently. Um, Toronto has bigger expectations, so their players not performing is making it a little bit of a harder market. And I think it's gotten harder and harder as the team doesn't perform, which honestly, fair. I get it. You can't at some point you just get really frustrated. Um so also kind of MFM is as mentioned in the chat, some outlets are just a little bit more TMZ-ish. Yeah, tabloid-ish. Um, so yeah, that was a complete side note. Nothing about the game there. It was just kind of my thoughts on the Montreal market. Um, I think I just love it when we can show how much we love our players. Because I do think that. I think that, like, there's nothing quite like, how, like, hmm, I don't know how many of you have been in a city that has like a really good or popular um, OHL team. Um, there's like a little bit of like a god complex that the players get treated with. Um, so that's kind of the other end of the spectrum when you're completely not um, criticized or given super special treatment. Um, So yeah, I think that's two ends of the spectrum. I don't think any NHL city is quite like that intensely. But love doing this. Love doing this. Love getting on tangents. You guys know what I'm saying. Anyways, I'm just glad that the city showed him love. I should stop moving this much. I think my camera's really struggling to focus on me. But I'm a hands talker, guys. Like I can't. Just gonna have a sip of water. Did you guys get that like sound? Because I bet that was like great for the mic. Um, so I'm gonna look back at some of the chat. Um, Dennis, back in the before times, before when this was scheduled a little earlier, was Dennis asks, why did it take them so long to try Matheson at right D? He looks great. I don't think he has in the past. I think they've tried it, and I don't know if it's worked. But it's funny too because recently, whenever he and Goulet would play together, at least in the last little while, the majority of the games he was the one playing on the right, and they let Goulet have his natural side. So he's getting better. He hasn't been bad, but let's remember what like not yesterday, but the last game was like. So it's an up and down situation. I think Matheson is unpredictable at the best of times, in terms of what he's going to do with the puck. And I don't mean that necessarily in a bad way. That's part of what makes him good. But that I think with Matheson, I have trouble expecting reliability. And I don't mean that as a dig at him. I just think some defensemen are give them an assignment, and they'll stick to that. Not, they're willing to move, they're willing to kind of make that in-game decision making, not in like a super see, the way I'm saying it, it's like an insult to like both kind of defensemen, but I mean it in like a nice way. So to me, Matheson is just, hey, it's working right now, let's stick with it. As soon as it's not, we need to move. Because I think Ian and I talked about this on our post game after the Bruins. Matheson, when it's bad, it's bad. So we don't want to give it a chance to get that bad. So yeah, I'm gonna look at some of the other questions. Oh, this is a good one. Another one from Dennis, which thank you, Dennis. If the lottery line / the LSD line / the 6-3 and over club, there's a lot of good nicknames, you're correct. I think mine is the lottery line. I like that one. First overall pick, second overall pick, and a third overall pick on there. I like that one. I think LSD line is just funny. So yeah, sorry. The question is, if that line stays effective and the Habs have 4 decent lines, is Primo playing average the last hurdle to a competitive team? So that's an interesting question, because before I answer that, I would like your definition of competitive. Because people can mean very different things by that. So let's get back to that one. But yeah. Another one from Dennis says that, can Gallagher and Anderson pump Dvorak's tires enough for someone to... Oh no, guys, I exited out of the window. Let me get back to that. Yes. Dennis says, can Gallagher and Anderson essentially pump Dvorak's tires enough for someone to take him at the deadline? No. The answer to that is no. Because honestly, today I thought he was had a pretty good game in terms of him being active, him making good-ish decisions. But there were so many times where I looked at him and I said, dude, when you shoot the puck, can you maybe shoot it at something under the speed of light so that the puck doesn't bounce off the other guy's stick? Or can you shoot it in the right position? But that's me being nitpicky. I think that's a little bit unfair, but I just mean as in I don't think Dvorak is going anywhere anytime soon. Let's just put it that way. Alexandra here says, what notes do you take? What do the notes you take during a game look like? I tweeted a screenshot of it on Blue Sky, which is why I think you're asking, to give you a preview. One of my notes says, Not perfect, though. Not perfect, though, but no one's perfect. Heart emoji. So, the way I talk and the way I tweet is a little bit the way I take notes. So, yeah. Um, I'm going to look a little bit more. Let me check. Yeah, I think what Bernardo says about I would assume this is about Matheson. It's crazy how he swings from elite skating offense defenseman to AHL defensive awareness. I think that's that. Um, I think that's pretty much what it comes down to. I remember when the trade happened. And I remember a lot of the Penguins fans I saw on social media or that I was talking to in my DMs. One of the things that they said was, you will either love this guy or you'll hate him. And I think that's been held pretty true. Um, okay. So Dennis gave us his definition for competitive. So I'll tell you guys what that is. Competitive would be approaching in the mix. Yeah, in the mix around 500. A definitive improvement over last year. I fear that they've dug a little bit too. They've dug their hole. They've dug the hole that they're in a little too deep. Uh, I'm sorry, I'm like 12. Um, they've dug that hole a little too deep, and I'm not sure that like they can get back to in the mix. But I think they could be competitive. Am I being a little too optimistic, guys? Um, Now here's the thing: our second line needs to work, so we need Slav and Doc to work. Um, we can anticipate all we want with line A, but until we have like a consistent line, I don't think we're going anywhere anytime soon. But I did really like that line today, even just beyond line A. I thought that they were I mean, the 1-and-1 goal, there was a little bit of Doc could have maybe done a little bit better, but so could have Lane, and so could have Gooley. He could have made a better decision there. I mean, if I must. Uh, yeah, so I like that line. I thought it went well. I really like their physical play. Um, I think that's what um I'm not sure if people watch the we were on TSN tonight, right? Or Sportsnet. I can't remember, guys, but whatever it was, they had the broadcast, and Kenzie Lalonde, I want to say, uh was or someone was saying how like they were talking to Doc about like his game and if he wanted to be more physical. And one of the things he said was that I don't want to force physical play. It's just when I'm at my best, physical play comes to me. I think that's fair. So yeah, my point being, I saw him play physically. There were times where he threw the puck at players. It was a good line. It was a good line. Not going to be critical of it. I don't think that's a fair or worthwhile thing to do. And especially, honestly, Doc is getting better and better. Slav is a little bit inconsistent, but I think it's been unfair to him with the way he's been put in the same bucket as maybe someone who's struggling a little bit more. Um, so yeah, I'm liking it. Guys, let me know how you feel about it. I'd love your thoughts on it. I think I'm just kind of optimistic right now. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I think, and you saw it on my show with Ian on Sunday. Uh, Ian was just straight up annoyed with them. And I was like, guys, but they played like a good third. Like, I was looking at the best of the situation. And so I don't know if I just have rose colored, like rose tinted, rose colored, whatever the English expression is, glasses. Um, but I think they looked good. Um, oh my God, guys, sorry. I just had a moment where I was like, have I been recording? Like, I know I've been streaming, but have I been recording this? Yes, I have. Good job, me. Um, so I'll let you guys put those questions in, and I'm gonna kind of talk a little bit more about some of the other questions that I saw. Um, ooh, MFM has a good one, and this is my hot take. This is definitely my hill that I think people. This is my controversial one. I think I think we need to insert the question. Let me just tell you guys what the question was. The question was, what would you insert JB in the lineup next game and why? So JB being Justin Barron. Um, let me think on that for a second. But while I do, if you guys could like the chat. I hope you're liking the chat, but if you can like the video, I'd really appreciate that. Um, so to me, the Justin Barron issue is complicated. Um, it's a little. I think I'm kinder to Justin Barron than I think a lot of people are. Um, I think that he is not as bad as people. I don't. I think people are unfair to him. Uh, I think Marty doesn't trust him in a way that is a little bit not warranted. I'd say some of it is warranted. I'm not going to say that like he's been perfect or that he's earned Marty's trust. I think that I think a little bit of it is maybe just a tad more unwarranted than it should be. Um, so I talked a little bit about Justin Barron on Blue Sky. And you know what? I'm going to open up my Blue Sky and I'm going to take a look at that because I don't want to say something that I don't mean or believe. And I think my kind of what I said is a better amalgamation. That's my word that I've chosen. Um, my amalgamation of how I feel. So I guess the yeah. So something I said here is that I understand Marty is trying to make sure and I made sure to say this young guy is earning his spot on the lineup. But every role needs to have somewhat of an exception. When you have a need, you need to give that need a longer leash to develop. There's a need on right-handed defensemen. Like, for example, Marty can't afford to bench Nick if he plays badly. Um, so if there's a need, you have to go for it. Again, not comparing Justin Barron and Nick Suzuki at all. I'm just talking in terms of like that's an example. And I don't think like Justin Barron is as important to this team. My point is that I know he's been harder on some of the other defensemen, uh, and that includes Struble, and at the beginning of the season, that was Jack Guy. Um, but I think we don't have much on right-handed D. So my biggest thing is we should be looking. That I think the front office's job on our defense group is not done. Um, we our organizational strength is not defensemen, it's left-handed defensemen, and that's very important. Because what that means is that we do have a need on right. Because what do we have? We have Savard right now on the team. He's in his last year. I think a lot of people are already in their minds trading him. Um, but Then we have Mayu. Um, and regardless of whatever other feelings I have about Mayu, just strictly hockey wise, he's not ready. He's very clearly not ready. Um, I've caught a few Laval games, but more than that, I trust other people's opinions. And it seems like he's still struggling where he's always been reported to be struggling. So his offense has still been great, but his defense still needs work. So that's neither here nor there. My point being that there's not a lot available at the right side. And I don't think it's fair to make guys play on the wrong side. Frankly, I think it's like putting them in positions to fail, and I strongly believe this. I have now become Mark Dumont, and I've become a Caden Gooley needs to play on the left truther because we've seen how much better it can be. Um, and I want to give my guys the best chances to succeed. Um, so yeah. So my opinion on Barron is more that, first of all, that first game that he was back, that he was finally put in, people were so pissy about him. They were being so mean. And I understand, guys. I get it. But at the same time, he hadn't played in forever. He'd been sitting. So it's not like his decision making is a strong suit, anyways. But when he's been sitting for so long, of course he's going to make some decisions, some bad decisions. And then his second game, I thought he was fine. I don't think he vowed at all, or I don't think he like impressed that much, but I don't think he was like bad. Now I know that's like a little unfair to Struble because if Struble's good and Justin Barron is okay, it seems like Struble should be in, which technically, yes, I believe. And I don't think it's fair to Struble that he should have to sit, but Justin Barron is right-handed, and that makes all the difference in the world. Um, So yeah, I think there needs to be something to be done on D. Um, and I would really like Kent Hughes and Jeff Fortin to figure it out. Just gonna move forward a little bit. Um, Sorry. Yeah, I think there's just a need. They need to do something. Um, Please don't draft a defenseman. Uh, Try to find one in a trade or something like that. But um, yeah, that's I'm gonna cut myself off there. Let's just I feel like I went on forever about this part, but I just my feelings on Justin Barron are a lot more nuanced than I think other people's feelings are. Also, everybody was being so fucking weird about him on that video that came out where Laine was where he like hit Laine in practice, and this was before Laine like debuted. Guys, if Laine can't take contact in practice, he should not be playing games. So like frankly, it's fine. Um Also, yeah, maybe you don't go like full steam ahead for your practices against your teammates, but you still like can play hard, especially when you're in a position where he is, where he's been put in this, where he has to fight for his spot. Anyways, I think people really blew that one out of it's not out of the box, out of proportion. Got there in the end, guys. Out of proportion. So, yeah, I think we all just need to be a little bit more normal about Justin Barron. I think I could tone down my protectiveness. I think everybody else could tone down how fuck. I think everybody else could tone down how weird they are being about him. So, yeah, I'm just gonna put that aside. Um, just gonna catch up with the chat. Joshua asks if Baron comes in, who sits. It's gonna be Struble. Jack Guy's playing way too well to sit. And I'm not sure if you guys saw, like I If you guys are on our Instagrams, which by the way, you should be following our Instagram, that's the Game Over Network on Instagram. Uh, I very lovingly and taking way too long made a cute little reel featuring Ian and I's discussion about Arbor Jacki being a good boy. I got to I got to look at that really cute like video of him and Florian at the start of the year giving their little press conference. So yeah, just take a look there and uh and give it some love. Um so Jean Francois, I'm so sorry. Uh, says that Justin Barron is better than Mede or Bouillon. We like those guys because they had no defensive depth. Both of them look better than JB because they had Price. I'll be patient. I think that's yeah, yeah. I think that's a little bit they had no depth, so that's why we could be patient. I think that's why people are impatient because we have more depth. Um, but I'll wait. I think it's a little too you're throwing the baby away with the bathwater. I'm having a lot of fun with these English phrases right now, guys. I'm really enjoying them. Um, yeah. So it is Trinka who says um JB needs a couple of games in a row with a reliable partner. Um, I think I think this defense needs a couple games in a row with pairings that are steady. Um, listen, I both like that Marty's willing to change on the fly, but I do wonder if if he moves players' heart a little too quickly. Um, I don't honestly. I'm talking out of my ass when I say this, but I saw that Gooley and Hudson got broken up. Um, it seemed like they were, but I also don't know if they fully were. Like they might have played together a little bit, but it seemed like they got broken up a little bit after that tying goal, the 1-1 goal. And I was like, hold up, that's a little hasty. Um, because, and I get it. They had a sorry, um, I completely like messed up the corner of my mouth while sleeping, so my mouth really hurts. But yeah, um, where was I going with this? Yeah, I think one of the reasons that Marty broke it up is because um I thought Gooley had like an overall um strong question mark game. It was okay. It was an okay game. I can admit that it was fine. But usually when him and Hudson are paired together, it's very uncharacteristic that they both get caught too far away from the defensive zone or too high up, I guess is the way to say it. Um, so it's I love doing this thing where I start talking and hope it gets me somewhere. Um, it's one of my favorite things to do. Anyways, what I was saying was I think there was an uncharacteristic mistake on that first goal where both Hudson and Gooley were a little too high up. Um, which is one of the strengths usually of that pairing is that Gooley will stay back and Hudson will move up. Um, generally, it's better decision making that gets them in a more even result, but whatever. I I can't be bothered by it too much, to be honest, because I just like that pairing. I think it works well, even though that is one of the pairings where Gooley does not get to stay on his left side. Uh, because if Marty makes Hudson play on the right for an extended period of time, I will fight him. You do not do anything to that guy that puts him in a position to fail. So let's just get that out of the way. Also, you need to put him in a position where he's positionally aware and isn't caught by guys in ways he's not expecting because guys will gun for him. Um, or, I haven't seen a lot of guys trying to hit him super hard and miss him. Um, maybe it's just that he literally doesn't let them. So if you guys can think of like, I know like I can think of like 3, 4 instances where that's happened, but I haven't really seen like I've seen them like physically try to overpower him at the net or whatever, but I haven't seen too many people like going for a big hit on him too often. Uh, if you guys can remember, like, or I can think of like a few, but if you can think of like an overall trend of that, let me know. I'm not seeing that, but yeah, my point being, I like that pairing. I feel like it works. I don't want, um, sorry, read the chat. Yes, Bernardo, it does really kill me. Um, but yeah, I think that pairing works. I don't like Matheson and Hudson together. I think they're both too similar in terms of their tendencies for it to work well. Um the third pairing, I just really like Arbor Jacka. I'm I'm really I'm a big I've been a big in the preseason I had a lot to say about him. Um my big thing was I feel like he is getting too aggressive because it feeds too much like the crowd is getting to him. I think the expectation of the crowd is getting to him a little bit. So I'm glad that the now the crowd is responding to his big hits and his big shots. Like I like that. I think we should encourage him to do that more. So my point being, Arbor's been great. Love him. Uh Savard when he's put in the right um minutes position, he's good too. Um I think David Savard has honestly, ever since he's been playing on the right kind of situations, in the right situations, I've I've become fond of him. He is I get the Papa Savard thing. So I'm gonna catch up on the chat a little bit and also drink some water because I can talk, I can yap, but I don't know if I can yap that much. I really slowed down my drinking so I could read. Um Again, Trinka coming in hot with the good questions. Which player would we get more on the trade market from, JB or Struble? And they clarified that like I don't want to trade either. To be clear, yeah. What do you think? I actually don't know. I think I don't want to say that like Jaden Struble isn't unique or I just think that like he doesn't have anything super defining to him. So he hasn't like he's physical and we've seen him play physical. Uh sorry. He's physical. We've seen him play physical. I just don't know if like it's a big and Justin Barron has his issues obviously, but we did see him he has the special attribute of being right-handed and also offensively strong. He has been. When he's playing. He's offensively strong. Trigo also points out that Kirby Doc totally ran into Marty in a video and everybody just laughed about it. Yeah. Stop being weird. Stop being weird. Stop being mean. I'm gonna take away your internet privileges. And by that, I mean I'm going to mute you. I can't take away your internet privileges, but I will save myself from seeing them. Um, hmm. Bernardo points out he's a handsome man. Struble, I assume. Yeah. fair. It's got that going. Um, Noah and Trinka point out that it's probably because he's like a sexier trade because he's stronger. I I honestly don't know. I genuinely don't really know. That's a question worth asking, but not a answer worth giving. Honestly, my answer is um. So I'm going to probably not stay on all that much longer. But if you guys want to like send any more questions in the chat, like even repeat questions, just because I miss them. Honestly, I'm having trouble just like reading back like that. But if you want to drop same questions, that's totally cool. Um, but something I want to run by you guys actually. I've had this like vague idea planned, and I'd love your thoughts on it. So if you're watching live, let me know in the chat. But also, if you are not watching live, let me know in the comments. I want to try to do this thing where you guys, through some means, submit like a player to me, and there would be limitations. It would be like the player can't be, from it has to be like 2010s onward or like late 20s onward. 20s, 2000s, that's right. Sorry, got there in the end. Anyways, there'd be limitations, but I'd love to do this thing where one of my strengths as a certified girly is I follow a lot of like the partners of the players on social media, and I just know a lot of their lore. Um, and it wouldn't even have to be Habs players. I'm thinking of doing this thing where people can give me a player, like two players, and I will find a connection for them. I think that'll be a fun little challenge for me. Um, I might even make a little PowerPoint if I do this. Like I might just like have a little chart um where I'll find a connection between them. And it would be like silly connections. Guys, you can't expect me to be like a trade tree. I'm not Steve Dangle. I will I'll do like this player's ex-girlfriend is still friends with this player's girlfriend, and that player is connected to our player this way. So thinking of doing something like that. Don't know if you guys would be interested. I just think it'd be a fun little activity for me to do. Um, I am, currently like job searching. Uh, not to get too personal. I'm job searching, so I have time. I have time to do this stuff. And I think it'd just be a funny little challenge for me. Let me just unfocus myself or focus myself, refocus. Okay. Yeah. So let me know if you'd be interested in something like that. Um, but if you're not, then I won't, I guess. Uh, hmm. Um, so Dennis says like a great comment here where he says that Arbor's still taking penalties, but we want him to play a little snarly. He's been looking scrolled all the way down just then. He's been looking way better. And I would agree with that. Honestly, some of the penalties have been really suspect. It's definitely some reputation calls, which are getting better, but definitely like some reputation calls uh, going against him there. And others have been totally real. Like I saw people arguing that like that what was that penalty? Let me just check that. What was that penalty? Not Anderson. Yeah, Arbor on Nelson. And I think that was I feel like I'm going insane. I think it might have, no, that was Josh Anderson. Sorry to, I'm not gonna say that. That something really mean was about to come out of my mouth, and I won't say it. anyways, I saw some people talk a little bit about like how there's definitely penalties he takes that are very real. And that's just the line you walk when you're a player who plays the way he does. So some of it is like, I don't care. Like some of it is, it's fine. It happens. Also, sometimes you just have to take a penalty to save a goal. Yes, he did take a penalty. Guys, I feel like I'm going insane. No, I need to check this. This is like, it was an interference. Yes, Joshua saying. He's saying it's a dumb call. I disagree with that. I was gonna say, I think it was like, I think he did hit a little bit late. Um, that was one of those moments where like, um, no, I'm just, guys, I've gaslit myself. But, oops. Um, but my point being, I don't care. It's fine. He's fine. In conclusion, it's fine. I don't care. Everything's good. Um, Bernardo's question is, Laine is on pace for 58 goals for the rest of the season. Does he surpass that amount, and by how much? Um, Frankly, I'm expecting him to win the Rocket. Like, it is what it is. Oh my god, guys. Joshua says, I'm kind of done with the rest after the Rangers game. That reminds me, that call on Gooley, or against Gooley, that was supposed to be, high sticking. That's stupid. It's stupid. And I don't care if there's a rule against it. I just think it's so stupid. Um, you did, I don't know, hold on to your stick harder. I don't know. Um, I don't get it. So yeah, I was really pissed about that. That was I was annoyed about that one. But hey, as who is it? It's Ian. Yes, Ian would say, "Ball don't lie," and that's what Nick Suzuki said. I can't believe I didn't talk about that yet, you guys. I can't believe you let me go this long without talking about it. Do you hate me or something? Come on. That goal, I am so, Nick Suzuki is so back. Guys, he is so back. Um, I'm, I just love it when he does that shit where he's just like, I'm gonna make it happen. Um, I actually had a tweet queued up that I wanted to talk a little, that I just want to mention. And I know I said I was like reaching the end of this, and I know I'm getting tired, and I know my like mouth is starting to hurt because of all the talking, but I do want to point something out. So it's Hadi Kalakish on Twitter, which is Hadi HADIK underscore scouting, and K like the letter. I only spelt that because it was right in front of me. He says Nick Suzuki has been doing something very interesting lately. Um, when a forward shoots, even NHL D-men tend to turn around and watch the shot's trajectory. Suzuki takes that moment's opportunity to beat his check to the net front and get the rebound. Beautiful, ugly goal. And then he follows up with, it seems like every season Suzuki adds more ways to outthink his opponent. And yeah, love that. I love that so much. I uh I love that Hadi pointed that out, because I have, now that I think about it, I've seen him do that and I've seen him attempt that. And it's cool how smart he is. I love how smart he is. Obviously there's more skilled players in the league. There's et cetera, et cetera. All the fucking disclaimers we have to put when we talk about Nick Suzuki, because then other teams get mad at us for for acting like he's the best center, but we're normal. We're mostly normal about Nick Suzuki. So yeah, my point being, I just love having him. He rocks. He has proven, he's proven himself. I don't think that there's much he can do right now, and another thing. I can't stop talking, guys. And another thing. If he's not at the Four Nations roster, which there's pretty strong like reports that he isn't. Kind of what are your feelings on that? Because I can tell you my feelings. I'd love for you guys to like talk among yourselves about that. My feelings on it is I'm mad, I'm annoyed, I understand, I can understand the argument. As a fan, I'm annoyed because I want him there. I'm a fan of his. Like, it's normal. I'm not like so annoyed that like Chris Kunitz is there kind of thing. Like, I'm not that mad about it. But I almost think it's going to be a good thing because A, he gets like time off, which he hasn't in 20,000 years. During the he hasn't in 20,000 years during the season because he's always picking like he's always at the All-Star games, he's always at that, which I think will have Laine going this time. Anyways, my point being, I think he's going to have a obviously I'm glad he gets the rest. It sucks that he's not going to be there. I'm glad he gets the rest, but as one of you says somewhere, Trinka says, is the good thing is if he and Cole don't get picked, they're going to have banger revenge seasons. Yeah. I think if Nick Suzuki doesn't get picked, we know that man thrives off spite. He's gonna have such a banger season. And I'm personally, we're gonna be better for it, so I don't care. Like, let's do that. And I think the real interesting thing for me will be the Olympics. I'm eyeing that one. So let's see what happens. Or hi Bilal. Glad you could make the chat. And thank you. So yeah, Noah says pretty much exactly what I'm thinking. Love that they get to rest. If it was an Olympic snub, I'd be upset. But this tourney is run by the NHL, so I'm not counting as a real international tourney, which I agree. I totally agree with that. So that's kind of, those are my thoughts on it. Bilal says, I think Laine gets his first next game, and I'm banking on it. Who's the next game against? I have a totally not opening spreadsheets right now, guys. Don't worry about it. Definitely not opening spreadsheets. Predators. Ooh, interesting. Okay. Why not? I mean, like, UC Saros is probably why not, but why not? Right? So I'm just waiting for it to happen, frankly. It just seems like it's so close. And he's made so many dope plays, and like there's been so many dope assists and like almost, that I am fully expecting that his first will be like bouncing off someone's ass. Like, it's 110% going to be like something so ugly, and everybody's gonna be like, well, that's that. And are they playing at home, Nashville? I'll get you guys to answer that. I can't be opening that many tabs before OBS like decides that it hates me. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited for this. I'm looking forward to his first goal. It's going to be so interesting. Joshua says we should be able to smoke them. Patty for the hat trick. Bilal, I don't know if I should say that out loud, but yeah, totally. Habs Rule says, I'm not happy that Laine is playing for Finland. I assume this is about four continents is a figure skating thing. Four Nations Cup. They're saying that I'm not happy that Laine is playing for Finland. He should be resting the knee. Yeah, I understand. I get that one. I'd rather they save him for the Olympics. And Bernardo says, what are you going to do when Laine scores his first goal? I can't be held responsible for what I'll do. So I can't say what I think I'll do, because then it'll be like, oh, that's premeditated. You can't. I sound like I'm going to commit a crime. I don't know what will happen. So it'll be fun. Maybe. Embarrassing, definitely. But I'll update you guys on that. Like, don't worry, you'll hear about it. That's one of the things about me. I do something embarrassing, I'm gonna tell you. Like, I'm not, I'll make content. Guys, I will use myself for content. So yeah, I'm really, really appreciating all the engagement you guys had today. Genuinely couldn't have done this one without the chat. Really, really love that. Really, really love you guys. Thank you so much. I was really worried about this. One of the big reasons why we had to delay a little bit is so I could take the time to panic, frankly, and like prepare. Because it was a little bit of a last minute thing. Which I hope Andrew feels a lot better, and I hope we're able to see him soon because it's been a little while, and I frankly just miss talking to him on here. Um, so yeah, thank you so much for having my back, for participating in the chat, and I am going to admit before I sign off that I genuinely just like teared up when Laine got his goal. It was such a fairy tale moment. Oh my god, why am I gonna tear up right now? I'm not. I'm gonna stop before I do. But like essentially it's such a wonderful moment. I'm so happy for him. And yeah, this rocks. Great vibes moment. Again, everything is in the description, but you can find me on Twitter. I'm not going to say the new name because I will not. My at is KAY underscore IWM. No, IMW. Sorry, let's do that again. My Twitter is K underscore IMW. And my Blue Sky, because I got it open, guys. It's line composition, and I'm gonna do this because I need to prove myself, and not for any other reason. Like I know you guys can spell. I need to prove I can spell. It's line, so Line, and then composition, COMPOSITION. Fucking got it. So thanks, guys. I'm going to sign off and love you guys. Kisses, I guess. I don't think I've signed off like this before. Bye. Thank you so much. Like the video, share it, subscribe if you haven't yet. I will think that you don't like me if you don't do that. So, I mean, yeah.